Mike. I am the Glampsite Builder here. I wanted to showcase the property that we just purchased a couple years ago, and wanted to show you guys what it takes to build a Glampsite. I'm not going to get into a bunch of general items to talk about. I'm going to get more into the construction. I've been a general contractor for 40 years now, so I have a lot of experience. Been building custom homes and doing some nice remodels and all sorts of projects in between. So for the last 2 years, actually a little more than 2 years, I've been working out here, building a Glampsite, and I'd like to kind of give back to YouTube, since I learned everything from YouTube practically to get started here. But the one thing I thought was missing is a little bit of real details that gets into the nuts and bolts of things. So instead of saying, yeah, we built a deck over here, maybe we're gonna talk a little bit about how we did the deck, what kind of fasteners. First thing I'm going to tell you is that this property has a main road going out about 300 yards away. There's a main road there at that intersection. And this is in Honey Grove, Texas, in North Texas. And I bought 5 acres of land. It's zone no restrictions, which is great. I'll get into that on another segment as far as being a contractor and permits. And you've probably heard some of the other guys talking about permits, but I've spent many years pulling permits, dealing with engineers, dealing with the personality types that you got to be ready for behind the counter of the building department. So looking forward to telling you guys some of my stories there. But luckily for me, all I had to do was put in a septic system, and that's the only thing I put in a permit for. Everything else is on my own. So it's been great. And what I'd like to do is kind of discuss in general a little bit about what we did here. You might see a few new ideas. That is our goal, to build one-of-a-kind structures that you don't see anywhere else. And it might be with a tent, but what did we add to the tent? My wife's an interior designer. She did a really good job on the we call it the boho tent, with beads and things of that nature. And you'll see some of the other touches that she did. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk down the road here. And so, as I was saying, this is the entrance to my park. One of the things that I scored on, I don't even know if I can do it justice, but this tree, over 100-year-old oak tree, and this was at the entrance. So I got really lucky. You guys got to see these lanterns we put in. You'll see some of the little gold lanterns. They look awesome at night. I'll show you where I got a $150 gazebo in the back. And so this is going to be the entrance. We haven't finished it. We haven't graded it out, put in a little layer of rock. We got some cool ideas that you guys will like seeing in the future here when it comes to looking at the entrance right when you come in. My wife's real big on the curb appeal, the feeling you get when you enter a place. Not only is she an interior designer, but for 40 years she's been in the hospitality. Oh, that tree, I never stop loving that tree. But so my wife has experience in the hospitality world, and she's used to setting up companies for conferences and so on. So she's very knowledgeable about the sense of arrival, the red carpet treatment. Somebody comes into a room, this is what they leave them. Maybe this is the personal note that they wrote out. But she's got a lot to add. I'm hoping to get her on here because she's got a lot of great interior design ideas. And the thing I like about it is she's a master at buying things on the dime. So at this park, I got 5, we're calling it phase 1. I have 5 structures, and we're starting with 5, and we plan to do some things in the future, but we want to test the market out. We want to see what's hot and what is not. So we're starting with 5 units, and this is the first one that we set up. We're calling this the boho tent. There's some a piece of furniture on the front porch. We're going to be putting that inside, but we've been working on this really cool fire pit area we set up right next to the tent, and you can see what we got going. I should show you. We took a regular tent that has entrances in the front and back. I started putting it up. My wife said, if you think you're going to make me go to the bathroom down to the community bathroom in the middle of the night, you're wrong. So I had to ingeniously design a structure and a bathroom behind the tent. And this cover I was just under, it's holding a nice day bed that we put up. We got some corrugated metal from Home Depot, got some 2x6 from Home Depot, but some of the rustic posts and the braces you see are from the forest here. So I've been utilizing what I got here, and it's been awesome. In the future, we'll get into each unit in more detail on, again, the nuts and bolts and what touches can you add to make yours a little different, make it a little cooler. And again, I've been a general contractor building custom homes, and you know, I know what people are expecting sometimes, and so I'm not doing the cookie cutter stuff. But so that's our first unit. Behind me, which I kind of fell in love with these moose antlers, so I bought those, and it's the grand entrance to what's behind here is my workshop, a tool room, and to be quite honest, a lot of junk laying on the ground, wood, extra pieces, but we wanted to keep it out of the sight. And look at all that cool reclaimed wood. I got more on that later. Here's something I'm walking by, trying to create little cool areas under a tree. So we got some bent wood, I forget what you call it, birch wood or something, furniture with a couple Adirondack chairs and a big stump that we cut off a dead tree and using that as a coffee table. Right here is a little bridge that I built. That bridge consists of a long standard pallet that I dropped down, covered it with cedar, put 4 rough cedar posts and a 2x6 cedar piece of wood on top. Built that thing in about 2 hours. And I'm trying to brag, I'm not fast. So this is what we're calling the community area. So this is in the central part of the park where we're going to have this set up to where you're able to come over here and hang out at the fire pit. And we built a cool structure. Now we're planning on putting a tarp for sunshade on that, but we haven't done it yet. So right behind me here is a bench. Notice we just used cedar posts. And I think I can do this. But anyway, so the central community area is something we set up so that if everybody wants to gather, if you're the type that wants to talk to new people and so on, this is a place you can hang out at. But we're going to have individual little fire pits at each unit. See, we built a big storage shed here that is holding a bunch of firewood. Oh, got to show you the sink. The sink is made, this countertop, the sink, all of this was made out of a slab from the forest. This was a chunk, like a chunk of a trunk that my right-hand man in my construction business made this in his shop. It's all one piece of oak, solid. We may have stuff on that later. But again, I'm looking for cool pieces that you don't see at every... I gotta figure this thing out here. Okay, here we go. So well, I think I'm gonna go down this way. So I'm not gonna get into each structure, but I wanted to show you what we're calling our community bath. You got a shower, toilet, and a sink connect to a septic tank, and it's a real bathroom, real shower. And then that door in the back, we split this building almost in half, and that door in the back is our utility room for washer and dryer. We only put in one washer and dryer, but we have the plumbing and electric for 2 washers and 2 dryers. Planning for the future. Hopefully we're going to need more things to handle the people that are coming here. So going down the road here, all this road here that I'm walking on, we had to clear it, grade it, put rock on it. I'll be getting into the different rocks and base and what you should put on top later. But to me, this is an example of what I'm trying to show you guys, is that, you know, I have a standard 13-foot in diameter bell tent there. And it's your standard tent you see all over the place. So, but what we did is we added this sunshade to the top. It's hot here in Texas. We put in a cedar table that we got from Facebook Marketplace. I've been collecting birdhouses for decorations. And you'll see that I got another little oak slab. This is out of the forest we put here to make it look cool. Behind me, we got a little chimney fireplace, its own little firewood holder. We got Adirondack chairs and a little table. So, you know, this space here really makes a big difference. Oh, there's our dog. I gotta tell you guys, this dog has wandered on. There's a dog, and if you can see in the background, there's a little brown bear, a carved bear that I put on a stump. And this dog wandered in here, and every once in a while it runs over to the carved piece of wood and barks at it. It's the only time I've heard the dog bark. So anyways, I'll move on. But you know, this kind of came to me, you know, thinking about things, this entrance, because I had just a deck and I got all these cedars out here, and you can see you can build some cool stuff. Again, this didn't take me that long, because with this kind of construction, everything doesn't have to be perfect and everything doesn't have to be level. It's kind of, you know, you're going for the rustic look. I don't think you guys can see down there, but that dog is ready to attack that piece of wood. I won't spend too much time back here. It's a little messy, but what I wanted to show you, this is we're calling it our camping tent. We put up 3 tents on decks, separate little decks. We're gonna have a cooler, picnic table, fire pit, barbecue, all the things you need for a basic camping trip. We want to test the market and let's see if some younger people on a lower budget want to come out here. And I read on or heard on someone else's YouTube where they had some tents, and at first I was like, I'm not going to do just standard little tents. But we ended up thinking the same thing as this person is, you know what, get some tents. Let's see what they do. Because sometimes the lower price client comes in, stays in the tent, walks through the park and says, oh man, I got to stay at that, the boho tent or one of the trailers that we have that we'll be walking to. So I'm walking back down the trail, walking back past we call it the rustic tent. We just came up with our own little names. And I'm gonna tease you guys more reclaimed wood. I'm gonna tell you guys how I got all this lumber for free. And all the other stuff you saw back there. So it's what I call a score. So now we're going over to, and by the way, those tents that I just walked you to and the one bell tent, those people have to walk to this bathroom, but it's close by. But we're gonna see the difference between units having their own bathroom and units that don't have your own bathroom. Will people stay in tents and walk to the bathroom, and therefore we can put in a bunch more little tents? Or if we see a trend like, man, everybody wants a bathroom, then we know in the future when we're building stuff, we need to put bathrooms in them. So my wife might get mad that I'm showing this. This is a 1957 vintage trailer that we bought, rehabbed inside. I put it here, and my wife has big plans to turn this, and she's calling it Lucy, as in 1950s, I Love Lucy, I think is her inspiration. But we're gonna get into stuff that she is awesome at. You see, you still have things here we gotta put together. We got a deck, we got a hammock and a little fire pit over there. So this is gonna be a cool little spot. And I'm realizing my arm, even though I didn't think I'd be tired, but my arm's getting tired. So there's another view. We got that swinging seat. We put one of these little mosquito domes, I think they're 100 and something bucks. And I thought it would be a good idea so people like, oh, it's summer, mosquitoes. Well, if you want to grab a beer and hang out inside there, you can. We're going to see how popular those are. We may end up adding a bunch of them. We'll see. Again, we're going to do the trial and error. See what's working, see what things we need to improve on, and so on. Now we're getting to our Airstream. It's a 1987 Airstream. It's got sewer run from it to the septic, so it's got a full bathroom. We're not going to go inside, but you know, we ran water. I got a hose here. If you notice the planters, those are just chunks of wood, you know, cut from a trunk that's hollowed out, because some of these dead trees, they get hollowed out inside. You can cut them up, put a bottom on it, turn it into a planter, which we did with these two. Here's a pond in the making, but we did a little drawbridge over that. These posts I got for free. I went to pick something else up and I saw them in a pile, and the guy said, oh, you can take them. I didn't know what I was going to use them for, but I found a use. So put the posts in, and you see the straps or the cables coming down. We added those because we did it wrong the first time. I'm going to teach you some of that kind of stuff. Trust me, even though I've been doing this forever, some of these particular things I'm talking about, they're going to be definitely some good videos on don't make this mistake, because I've got already 5 or 6 of them that I'm ready to tell you guys, don't do what I did in this situation. Nothing catastrophic, but enough to bum you out. Cost you a little more money. Again, I'll talk about this later, but we got a little bird there that we bought on Amazon. We got like 22 different little animals and bears and squirrels and screwed into the trees, and we're going to create like a scavenger hunt, which we thought that'd be cool. And the name of our place is Whispering Woods. And I don't know if you can see that, but it's this little sculpture that has a guy whispering. I liked it, I bought it, and it inspired the name Whispering Woods. So got this little area here that we're going to make a cool pond. And the dog that has adopted us really likes it. So if you can see, walked up onto the deck. There's an entrance. We got patio furniture. This whole cover was built with a bunch of 2x6s, corrugated metal. But if you see, we used cedar, not too good in the light there, but some of these cedar posts, they're all just cut down from the forest here. So not only did we save thousands of dollars instead of buying cedar posts, I think we made something a lot cooler using the cedar branches to build stuff and railings and I'm gonna show these off. Bought these online, $150 each, made out of hickory. They're unbelievable pieces of furniture that would cost over $1,000 in a retail. So we'll get into where I bought stuff. So I showed you the 5 spots. Let me sit down here. Oh, this isn't going to be high tech, by the way. My game plan is to get into the details of the stuff that we've built and to get into the details or start telling you about plans in phase 2. If phase 1 goes well, we recoup some money, the ball gets rolling, we got cash flow, then I can go to a bank. I have paid cash for this so far, and I'm into this for like $325,000, and that is a lot of money to pay cash, but I'm conservative, I'm older, getting ready to retire. So in my case, I went the conservative route and tried to pay cash for everything I put together here. And then my game plan is to see if we can get cash flow going that will pay a payment for a construction loan. So if I get the income coming in, I already have a relationship with a banker, and I'm looking to see if we can get a construction loan to maybe build a one-of-a-kind A-frame. I got one in my head that I want to have a big, tall A-frame and then a carved out area because it's on a little hillside. I don't know if I should say it because now I'm going to feel like I have to do it, but I would like to have a waterfall from the bottom of the deck that goes down to the lower level into a pool. Never seen something like that on an A-frame, and it would be awesome. So phase 2 could be the A-frame, a geodesic dome. I don't know the size yet, but it's going to be on a deck in the trees, private. And then last but not least, I'm hoping to do the Pete Nelson inspired treehouse in the very back by those tents, the 3 tents that I showed you. I got an awesome area to build the full badass treehouse. Bathroom, kitchen, whole 9 yards. And so I've built custom homes, so I'm going to build something smaller and very custom. And I'm going to be really happy to this is fun for me. So I'd like to show you guys some of the things we're doing in phase 2. But really where I think I can help you guys, because, you know, I'm a general contractor and I had to learn some things. I was like, oh, wow, this is different than setting up a house. So the things that I'm going to cover are going to be water, and I'm going to get into it more than, oh, you just call the company and they hook up the water. I'm going to tell you how deep we went, and, you know, you got to have certain size pipe, and hey, can this go that long of a distance all the way to the septic tank? Are we going to need a pump? I don't know. We'll see. Electric. Same with electric. You got to have somebody that knows what he's doing. You're putting in the right panel. You got to put the conduit at a certain depth. You got to have the right conduit for the electrical. And one of the biggest things I learned is, well, if you want a wire to go 300 feet, you got to start getting bigger wire. And the bigger wire costs more money. And then septic. I've put in multiple septic systems before. This was similar to what I've done before, but I have some pictures and I'll tell you the ins and outs of putting in a septic system. That's the one thing we had to get a permit for. Getting it down into the park. Oh, geez, how tall is it on the truck? We got to trim that branch and that branch to get it down here. Where to put it. I should have a whole video on just doing your layout of your park, because you got to put that septic in lower areas. You don't have to, but you don't want to pump everything up to a septic tank. So best thing to do is see if you can get your septic in a low-lying area, and everything can drain down into the new septic tank. So, and I'm going to cover things like buying land, and I'm going to tell you the process I did. I've been in real estate for many years also, and in my case, I didn't use a real estate agent, but I have a lot of experience. But I have some things to tell you guys what to look for when you're looking at property. And again, I'm going to get into details. Oh, how many days on the market? How's it been? Oh, look, they've dropped the price already 3 times. That tends to happen, especially in this market and out in these rural areas. And then sometimes I'm making the offer. If it's a hot property that just came on the market, I know I want it, I feel comfortable enough to make an offer. One of the biggest tips I can give you guys that I learned from someone else was don't sit there and think about it too much and well, I want to go down to the building department and I want to talk to some contractors to tell me how much it's going to cost and all that. And then in the meantime, someone like me has swooped in and put in an offer, and I'm under contract. So the big tip on this one is don't be afraid to make an offer, and don't be afraid if they accept it. You should have some due diligence period. So hopefully you're doing your homework. You can make an offer and jump on something, but you might not follow through. Of course, you don't want to make a habit of that. It can cost you money if you keep backing out of deals, and at what time. But you need to negotiate your contract so that you can have some good time to do some of your research without actually purchasing the property. So I'll get into how I narrowed things down, where I did my searches. I didn't do my searches on the MLS. I'll go through that and a whole lot of other things that come up. And this is my first video, so I hope you guys like it. And oh wait a minute, I'm supposed to say subscribe and like and press that button here. I don't even know what I'm talking about because I'm looking into a camera. But I'm going to probably learn some of this stuff, and I'm looking forward to putting a bunch of videos out there and talking about the nuts and bolts of building a park, and maybe save you some money and save you some time and hassle and headaches. So thanks for listening, and my doggy is still hanging out with me. But thanks for listening, and hope to get some more videos out there for you. Thank you.